welcome to PTI, your host Ricky Anderson.
And I'm Alex Pappas.
Alright, today we have a special 30-year edition of PTI.
That's right, Ricky. We're covering not 10, not 20, but 30 years of historic news. Needless to say, I'm excited, Ricky. I am pumped. Let's get started with headlines.
Go! Collapse of communism. Ding! The collapse of communism in the Soviet Union in 1991 brought the end of the Cold War. Is this a good thing?
Absolutely, Ricky. I mean, this is one of the biggest events of the late Cold War era, next to the Berlin Wall. It starts with the Baltic region, and it demands autonomy. Countries around soon follow, like the Ukraine and whatnot. And Glasnost prevents Gorbachev from cracking down too hard on these states. Armenia holds demonstrations demanding to be made a country. Of course, the Soviet Union government refused to allow these countries to secede. But in August of 1991, a failed coup by the hardline commies showed that the people of the Soviet Union wanted democracy. And then by Christmas of 91, Gorbachev resigned. And of course, by January, the Soviet Union ceased to exist. Needless to say, no one saw this coming.
Well, I wouldn't really say shocking or a power change.
Well, how? I mean, I just don't see how you can't find this shocking when you see such powerful countries and their communist government just kind of fall.
Hear me out, alright? For starters, you got Soviet provinces like Ukraine dropping like flies. You can see this coming from a mile away. It's all about timing, Alex.
I will respectfully disagree with you, but I think we can all agree on a fact that this truly signified that the Cold War had ended once and for all.
I don't know. You know what? Yeah, whatever.
Oh, well, all right
Let's
then.
go.
Well, let's just move on to our next topic. Gulf Wars. The Gulf War, in the same time, brought the U.S. military over the Middle East for a little combat action after Iraqi dictator Saddam Hussein invades Kuwait. 2 years later, total rout, ass-kicking, whatever you may call it, Saddam loses in the first round. Your take, Ricky?
Oh, definitely. It's a rout, no doubt. Saddam got annihilated all over. The sky, the ground, everywhere. It was a very strategic plan and victory for General Norman Schwarzkopf. 12 years later, totally different story in round 2, as there's no clear winner. I just wish the army had the same success the first time around.
Success? There's plenty of success. I mean, we got Saddam, stopped whatever possible WMDs were out there.
You did not just say that.
Well, I mean, there was materials to build the weapons of mass destruction.
Alright, give me a break. Both of us know that the U.S. should not have been over in Iraq in the first place. The WMDs never even existed. I mean, the only reason why Bush wanted to get over there was for the oil. Now look at where we are. We are basically fighting in a country which is unstable because of the Bush administration. Our soldiers can't leave because God knows what happens. This is turning into Vietnam all over again.
Wow. Alrighty, next topic. The Lewinsky scandal / Clinton impeachment. Ricky?
1998, Bill Clinton, Monica Lewinsky. It gets uncovered that Bill Clinton has inappropriate affairs with White House intern Monica Lewinsky, but is stapled with a line to a jury. And ensues the first impeachment process since Andrew Johnson and Richard Nixon, with only the House voting on impeachment, and that's as far as it went. Waste of a presidency, if you ask me.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily call it a waste.
Yes, it was a total waste. The country elected a cheat. Would you be proud to have an untrusting, unprofessional president like Clinton?
Well, no, but his presidency wasn't entirely wasted. Rather, it was tarnished. I mean, come on, he was a good president, Ricky. Maybe the things he did were not the most honest thing a man could do, but when he was at the helm of the country...
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, you let me finish here, alright? But when he was at the helm of leading this country, he still made some good choices. And the country backed him up on that. Did you know that even after the scandals, he still had high approval ratings? He also made the economy very good under his belt. But unfortunately, he will be remembered for the Lewinsky Whitewater scandals. But I would never say that this whole thing was a waste of a presidency.
All right.
Next topic.
2000 election. Alex?
The 2000 presidential election between Al Gore, who was actually stopping by later in the program, and George W. Bush, the election proved to be by far the most controversial and closest election in United States history ever. It all comes down to Florida, and thanks to faulty and crappy voting methods and a stoppage of the recount by the Supreme Court, Bush claims victory. What's your take on this, Ricky?
Oh, I have
What do
no
you think?
doubt in my mind that it was close. But I still think Bush would have won.
But doesn't it seem odd that not only that Bush's brother is the governor of Florida, but that the Supreme Court that had a Republican majority interfered with a subject matter that was strictly a state court decision? Does that seem fair?
I mean, it was almost Christmas time, and there still wasn't a new next president, so, I mean, we just needed to get things going. And it turns out that Bush did win anyway, so it just really doesn't matter.
Well, all right then. Well, I guess speaking of his administration, it'll be leading us into our next topic: recession, recession, recession. Ricky.
United States went through another recession thanks to a large inflation of many much-needed items such as oil. Remember when it was $100 a gallon?
Oh, absolutely.
Many experts believe that the next recession may have ended in July 2009, but many in this country would still disagree.
Absolutely. It sure doesn't feel like it. Millions of Americans are jobless. The housing market is, god-awful. You've got a massive deficit thanks to 2 conflicts overseas and more.
That is right, not to mention our good friends on Wall Street and the bailouts of big companies like AIG and GM. Just one of the many problems that need fixing in this country.
Absolutely. I mean, it just, with the money going around, it's just more and more of a deficit. I mean, it's starting to become hard times. But I don't think it's going to turn out to be like the Depression. I think we'll be able to pull through out of this quicker and maybe prosperous sometime in the future.
I think it's time to move to Australia.
Yeah, well, it's your opinion, but... Alright then, moving on to our next topic. Obama. Our final headline is Obama.
Obama.
In the... Ricky. Alright.
Say bro Obama.
Bro Obama. In the 2008 presidential election, Barack Obama defeats Senator John McCain to become the first African-American president in this country's history. He promised to bring change to the country in his campaign. And as we reach the halfway point of his first term, we ask ourselves, how well is he doing?
Finding him a bit disappointing myself. I mean, he got a Nobel Peace Prize for being black and being a president. Well, to be honest, I really don't think he's done anything besides waste money and waste money.
Well, I wouldn't really say he wasted money. I think we can blame that back on Wall Street. But anyway, as for accomplishments, he did pass that health care bill. And what would you expect him to get everything done? I mean, right away. Obama is basically picking up the mess that Bush left behind in his administration. He's basically like the janitor. He's just scooping up everything else.
Well, he did end the whole healthcare debacle, but is that even the right course? And even I can't just see him getting anything done faster, especially with the Gulf War, oil crisis, and it's just.
Well, I mean, talking about the Gulf of Mexico oil disaster, I mean, that's really isn't his fault. We have to thank the BP oil for that. But it's hard to believe it's almost 50 days without this oil just stopping with a flow. I mean, they've come up with solutions, and they're saying this recent one is working, but it's not.
It's working, but it's not working as fast as they want it to work. It's still.
But they said the last 2 should have worked, and how can you trust them on this one?
You know what? I love shrimp, and over 75% of the world's shrimp come from there. And now I'm not gonna have any shrimp, BP.
I know. Thanks a lot, BP. But getting back with Obama. But honestly, how much can we trust BP? They said for the past 2 failed attempts to clog the Olympic. Well, I know one thing's for certain, though, that this will definitely be reflected in Obama's presidency. It will most likely be a targeted subject Republicans will use against Obama in the upcoming 2016 election. That's if he decides to run. And that horn signals for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll be talking with Al Gore, and then later, good cop, bad cop.